Hi guys, welcome to Always Yarn First, a podcast about knitting, crochet, and all the yarny goodness in between. I'm Lindsay. I'm coming to you from Little Rock, Arkansas, and you can find me on Instagram and Ravelry also as Always Yarn First. So welcome to episode 8. Before we get into it, just going to apologize in advance. There's probably going to be some noises in the background. It's Saturday, it's a nice day. My husband's working between the yard and our bathroom remodel, so could be a bit of noise. The dogs, anytime we move around, they think they get to go somewhere, so they're shuffling around. So apologies in advance for the sound. Before we get into what I've been working on, a reminder, I am hosting 2 make-alongs currently. The first one I am co-hosting with my friend Lori from Arkansas Yarn Co. It is the Chevron Year Itch. It is a year-long make-along, knitting or crochet, for Chevron blankets. You can post on Instagram and use the hashtag the Chevron Year Itch with all your whips, FOs, and if you have a finished blanket, then you can post it on Lori's Ravelry group, which is Arkansas Yarn Co. And she has a finished objects thread. And occasionally throughout the year, we will pull for some prizes. It started February 1st of this year, and we're going through January 31st of next year. So probably maybe pull a prize next month, which will be like the first quarter of our make-along. The other make-along I'm hosting is the Slash My Stash 2022 mount. This is pretty much what it sounds like, is that you use things from your stash. So anything that is from your stash from before this calendar year, put it on Instagram, use the hashtag. Again, you can be posting your FOs, your works in progress. If you're not on Instagram and you have a finished object, I did start a Ravelry group and I have a thread for this make-along, so you can post on there. When I pull a prize every single month, and I incorporate all of those in, both from the finished objects on Ravelry and the Instagram hashtag, and I pull a prize. This month's prize, at the end of March, I will pull. And you will get this yarn, which is by Hugh Loco, a tweed yarn. That will be a prize along with a Progress Keeper from Arkansas Yarn Co. So, this episode, and all my episodes are named after songs that I love, because I love music. So this week's episode is called Almost Doesn't Count. Inspired by a song by Brandy, and I will have a link to that song below if you'd like to take a listen, as well as I'll have links to everything I talk about in this episode. So, what am I wearing? I did not make this. However, my daughter did. My daughter is a crocheter. She has made quite a number of sweaters, and this is the Lorelai Cardigan. And it was made out of, I don't know the colorway because she doesn't really keep project pages like I do. But it is Hobby Lobby. I love this cotton. And this is a great cardigan. She made one for herself first. And hers has a hoodie. I did not want a hoodie on mine. And it has pockets. And it's nice and long. And it's the perfect, like, everything around the house cardigan. So I begged her to make me one. This was before I finished, I think, even my first cardigan, which now I've made 2 myself. But she crocheted me this, and I love it. All right, so this week I have 2 finished objects. The first one, I'm just going to insert a picture because I'm not going to be able to sit here and show you properly. If you follow me on Instagram, you've already seen this. It is the Alei. It was, I've been showing it the last few podcasts, and it was my goal to finish this month, which I did. I'm really happy with it. I used the yarns by Barnyard Knits. They're Merino Nylon fingering base, and the colors Cinderella Pumpkin, Fairytale Pumpkin, and white pumpkin. And this is a great knit. I won't go into it because I've talked so highly of it for so long. But the texture on this is just so good, and it's so easy and repetitive and just amazing to work on. And you never get more stitches. Like, you always keep the same amount of stitches. So you're doing increases and decreases for the shaping that you see, but you don't ever increase more. So the rows aren't super long, which is great. And I have worn it, and it is very easy to wear with the shape. So I'm really, really happy with it. Okay, so the second finished object, again, if you're on Instagram, you've seen these. I did show a sock last week, but I do have the pair of them. This was a test knit by Nicole, who is Prof. Purl, Professor Purl. This is the Selena Socks, and I used yarns from my stash, old stash. This is a fingering held with a mohair. The fingering weight I used was Voolenvine, her Footsy base, and it's called Unicorn Tracks. And the mohair I had was Legacy Fiber Arts, and their cloud base, and it's called Pop Fizzle. And wow, it really does pop. I don't have the regular skeins to show because I gifted them to my friend Kristen. But this bright purple is the mohair that's coming through. The fingering weight was kind of more like a lilac color base to it. But this is a super fun pattern. It is made for DK weight yarn or fingering held with mohair. So I'm definitely going to be making more of these. And the good news is by the time you see this, you won't have to wait much longer if you want to buy this pattern. Last Nicole said was March 31st was going to be the date that this pattern is released. So again, the Selena Socks. So another super fun and easy repeat. So easy TV knitting. Totally. All right. I did cast on one thing, and I didn't get very far. But I cast on the Boxy Chevrons. Again, not very far, but the Boxy Chevrons is going to be the sweater that we're going to be doing at the yarn crawl at Arkansas Yarn Co. It's in July, and it's the sweater that a lot of us try to make, and so we can take a big group picture of all of us wearing the same sweater. So this year is the Boxy Chevrons, and the last time I had gone to the yarn shop, Jessa had already finished one sleeve, because you start with the sleeves, and Lori was almost done with one sleeve. So I'm like, I got to get going. So I cast on. Here's what I have. So spread it out so you can actually see. Again, you can't tell much by this, but my main body is going to be the Speckle yarn. So the blue is just the chevrons. So the blue you're only going to see down the sleeves as the chevrons. The chevrons start thick, and then as they go down the sleeve, they get thinner. And then the body is just going to be the speckle. So I think it's going to be really good. I showed this yarn last week, or last episode, I should say. I am using Knit Picks yarn in their Muse base, and I'm using Savvy is the blue, and Delight Speckle is the speckle. So again, this pattern is you start with the sleeves knit flat all the way down, and then you pick up in a way that you join with the body and then work in the round to make the boxy shape. So really different construction. I'm anxious to see it. That's why I wanted to kind of get a head start. And the bag I have it housed in is a bag I got a long time ago from Thread and Maple. It probably won't stay in this bag. I don't mind a zipper bag, but this one with the cork and the zipper, I'm afraid the yarn is going to kind of catch. But for right now, it's perfect with just the flat sleeves because I've been taking my yarn out of the bag. But this bag is so pretty. So that is my only new cast on, which is great. Oh no, I lied. Totally lied. I do have one other cast on and kind of a completed object. I don't know if you count tiny things as completed with just one. So this is in a bag by Knicknack Knits I just bought last Saturday while I was at Arkansas Yarn Co. I mean, it has Grumpy Bear from the Care Bears on it. I had to have it. I love it. And I am making some yarn cozies as a thank you gift for someone who always says that they need more yarn cozies, but they just don't ever make them. So I decided to get out some scraps of mine and make them. I do know what this yarn is. This is Madeline Tosh in the colorway Clue Board from 1984 because it was a very specific name. And it has sparkle in it. And then the other one I'm currently working on is it's an Arkansas Yarn Co. yarn. I think it's Uncle John's Daffodils, something like that. Like I said, that was just from my scrap bin. So I'm on my second cozy here. I'm going to see how many I can get done before I see this person. And hopefully I'll get this one done and at least one, maybe two more. So that's my other technical cast on. All right. Now I'm going to briefly show this. I have been just twiddling away. This is not exciting because I'm literally knitting a tube for a sock. As you can see, I haven't knit a ton of it. It's kind of like car knitting, purse knitting. Okay, I'm just knitting a tube, so I'll grab this. So this is Hue Logo Merino sock in the colorway Emerald City. And this is just kind of like, if nothing else, this is my mindless, like just grab this and make a long tube and add heel toes cuffs later. So not super exciting. It is in my bag that Maddie got me from Mountain State Stitches, which is the perfect size sock bag. All right, so this is another one I talked about a lot last episode, that this is my goal to get done before the end of March. This is in Mrs. Brown's bags. We're going to talk about project bags afterward. This is my V-back tee. Yes, I'm still working on it, but I'm almost done. But that's the name of the podcast, Almost Doesn't Count. So, you guys have seen this many times. This is using my advent calendar from last year from Pineapple Yarn. She does her advents in a gradient. So I started with color 1. Let me show you from the V side. But super exciting because I started the ribbing, so the end is near. As you can tell, this, probably because I hate math, my calculations weren't so great. I wanted to have every color. This is going to be long. So I'm on color 21 of 24, and I was really nervous because I still wanted to have all the colors, but I'm like, this thing is going to be so huge. So I decided to go down 2 needle sizes and start the ribbing for the last 4 colors. So at least it'll be kind of bunched up at the end and help out a little bit, I hope. We'll see next podcast how I feel about it. But I really have been enjoying working on it because the gradient is gorgeous. I mean, we're in my favorite colors, these blues right now. So I just started the ribbing last night at knit night. So my goal is still to have this finished because once I'm done with the ribbing, I'm done. I mean, the collar's done. I already bound off the pretty much no sleeves here. I already did bind off of that. So once I bind off the ribbing, I just got to weave in my ends and block it, and it's done. So I'm very, very close, which is good because I have 3 project bags down here on the floor ready to go. I mean, like yarn caked up, needles in the bag, printed pattern in the bag, ready to cast on, dying to cast on. But I've been good and not done it because I'm like, I gotta finish at least another sweater. So this is gonna be the next one I finish. And I'm happy it's almost done. And it's great because we're going into spring, and I live in Arkansas in the South. It's warm, and I'm hot-blooded, so this is a great t-shirt, short to no sleeve garment, which will be good. All right, the other thing that I'm almost to where I want to be, again, the title of the episode is my Chevron blanket. Of course, I'm not almost done, but if you watch my other videos that I post once a month with Lori, I do an unboxing every month of her Sock Yarn Society Club. And we are using our sock boxes to make our Chevron blankets for our make-along. So we're using very different patterns, but what I'm doing is I started at the bottom. You can't really tell, and it's curling up. Bottom, I did 2 rows of her wedding cake color. This is all in her sparkle base and fingering weight held double. And then I do the monthly color. So this was the January box, the first box. Then, so I did 2 more rows of the wedding cake. But then if you saw the last unboxing video, Lori had dyed this brand new color, this gray, which is called graphite, and it is my perfect gray. So I decided to get that and add that into kind of like my monthly border between colors, because I figured that way, whether her color is light or dark for the month, the white wedding cake and the graphite together is a nice visual boundary before the next month's color, whether it's a light or a dark color. And I love it. So my stitch marker, before the video, I had finished the wedding cake thinking I was ready to start the next color, but then of course I got the graphite. Added that, added another 2 rows of wedding cake, so I have 10 rows between. And then I basically knit on my pattern with the next month's colorway until I can't get across the knit and the purl row, and I stop. And then I started the white. I have 1 purl row of the graphite left, and then I have the 2 rows of wedding cake before I'm ready for the next colorway, which I get Monday. Today is Saturday, so I have 3 rows to do. So again, almost there. I will get it done, no problem. So this is my Chevron blanket, and I love it. It's super squishy because it's held double, and I say it every time, and I will continue to say it every time. Lori's sparkle yarn is the best sparkle yarn I've ever used or ever seen. It's sparkly, really sparkly, but still soft. It doesn't feel, I don't know. Some sparkle yarns I've felt are not soft, but hers is. This is in another Mrs. Brown's bag. Okay, and I've only worked on one other thing, and this thing I probably worked on the least. Pretty much right after podcasting, I picked up a little bit. But because I'm about to finish that V-back tee, I'm thinking this is the next sweater I'll try to crank out. This is my Cape Creek Minimalist sweater by Olive Yarn. Or actually by, the yarn is Olive Yarn, and the designer is Marie Green, who also goes by Olive something. Now I forgot, but I'll put it on the screen. So yeah, I am just knitting in the round on the body. I am doing Professor Purl's easy alternator method by alternating skeins every row. And that's been going great. It's so easy. And I'm loving this. So this is thicker. I probably, once I do finish it, I'll have to wait till the fall to wear it. But I love this sweater. The colorway is Horizon. It's just like a blue, gray, pink. It's so, so good. So that'll probably be the next sweater I focus on because it'll be easy, and we're traveling next week, and this will be easy car knitting that I won't get bored on. And this is in a Knicknack Knits bag that I got last year at the Yarn Crawl. Okay. I went through those really fast. This might be a short episode. I think I'm so paranoid about loud sounds around me that I'm talking extra fast. I do that when I get nervous. All right, so this episode is a top 3 list. And so this week we're going to talk about project bags, which I've done really good to show you all the ones I've been using lately. So I have a lot of bags of makers I love, but I narrowed it down to tell you about the top 3 I love. So the first one, I brought some extra empty bags in here that I'm not currently using. The first one is Woolly Bean. She is Juanita, and she also lives in Arkansas. She lives in Northwest Arkansas. And most of her bags are pretty much, at least all the ones I have, are pretty much the same size. I mean, this is pretty much her regular bag with different fabrics. And I was trying to look around. I have a lot more of her bags other places. I don't. These are the ones I could find. But hers is really sturdy, first of all. Her zipper is very sturdy. She usually has like a leather on the end of her zipper. She also has pockets in her bag. So I don't know if you can see that. She has pockets on both sides of her bag. And she has her cute logo in there, Woolly Bean. And I just love them because unless I'm doing like a really big sweater with like multiple colors or multiple skeins of yarn, I can do a sweater in here. I usually just do this with most of my things where I just fold it over like this and it becomes my little yarn bucket. But like I said, it's super sturdy with the canvas in there that it can take a little abuse, which is good because I have 2 dogs, a kitten, and these are zipper bags. Don't bother me at all. I don't have problems. Again, I think it's because I don't knit with them open like this. I fold over the zip part and use it like this. So I have no problems with my yarn catching on the zipper. So this is one that I have. Here's another one. You can see literally it is the same size, same leather. It's literally a carbon copy of that other one. But I love having the pockets in there. This is the one of my crochet project. I didn't work on this last time, but I have my crochet hook just in the pocket so I can see it very easily. These are great bags. And then I do have one smaller bag from her, and I feel like she calls these her pedal pouches. This I just have a bunch of miscellaneous things in. There's no pocket in this one. I just have a bunch of things thrown in. It's great for a makeup bag. I just have a bunch of notions I don't use as much thrown in here. But these are a great size too for your purse. I don't know, anything. I just have one of these sizes. But Woolly Bean. So she's really great. The second one, the other 2 bag makers that I love, I've already mentioned, and I've already shown you bags for. So we'll show them again. The second one is Knicknack Knits. Now, I had never heard of her till last year at the Arkansas Yarn Crawl when she came to Arkansas Yarn Co. shop. She had basically like a trunk show. She brought all of her own bags. She's from Wisconsin. Her name is Nikki. And she does do different types of bags, but these are my favorite. I love being able to see what's in the bag, but yet still having some kind of cute fabric. On the top, she has a really sturdy drawstring. This one, of course, has like a measuring tape on it, which is awesome. She has a nice sturdy handle here on the side, which is great, and it's also removable if that bugs you. But I mean, not a lot of fuss. I just think this style for a sweater is great. And I have 2 balls of yarn in here because I'm alternating skeins on this project. But like I said, she does different styles of bags. But this is my favorite with the see-through. So I have this one, and then this one I just bought last weekend, which is like the small version of that, like a sock sack. It's really all the space you need. Again, there's no pocket. There is a handle here, the drawstrings here. It's just, you can easily glance over and be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna pick up that project and go. And I have a third bag to show, which is part of acquisitions for the week. So Lori bought me this bag. She had Nikki make these for our Chevron Blanket make-along. Look at the size of this bag. I don't even know how to really show you the size of this bag. I mean, it is giant. So of course she had her make a chevron pattern, and she does have the strap on the side. She has the drawstrings right here. Eventually my chevron blanket will be in here, but right now my chevron blanket isn't that big. But in 6 months from now, when it's quite big and I have all my balls of yarn in there for the different colors, it probably will get moved in here. And the inside of the bag, she does have a pocket with the zippers, because this bag is so massive you don't want things to get lost. So you have this, and you have this, another cutesy little bag that matches the fabric. So how awesome is that? Like I said, I thought I wouldn't be using it, but last night when I went to knit night, I wanted to bring a couple of projects. I was bringing the things I was working on to finish this month, and I just threw them all in here and had one bag. And so this will probably be my traveling knit bag for next week. We're just kind of going up for a long weekend to Illinois and Iowa to help a family member move. So I'm probably just going to throw everything I want in this bag and have it in the car with me. And if you like this bag, Lori bought a few extras. So go to Arkansas Yarn Co. website. She told me yesterday she has a couple of these, and then the one she got made for herself is predominantly pink, as if you couldn't imagine that, if you know Lori. And she has that also, but she only has a few. So if you like this bag and you want one, go to arkansasYarnCo.com and get you one while she still has them. So that is Knicknack Knits. And like I said, I just discovered her last year and already on my top 3 of bag makers. And I know that she'll be coming to the Arkansas Yarn Crawl this year. And I plan on at least getting another one of these. I mean, because I love it. I always have a project in that bag. All right, and my favorite bag maker, and I wasn't even thinking about it because I actually haven't bought a bag from this person in, I feel like, the last couple of years. Like when I discovered their bags and how much I like them, I bought so many of them that I kind of went crazy. I mean, I bought like at least one of every single style. So I haven't had to buy any for the last couple of years. But then when I look around at my bags, I'm like, oh yeah, I really have a lot of them. So that would be Mrs. Brown's Bags, who is Jody, half of the Grocery Girls podcast. You probably know her as. And like I said, you probably always see me showing these. Like I said, she has different styles, different types of bags. So this one has my V-back sweater in it. I'm guessing this would be like a shawl size, but so I have a fingering weight sweater in here, no problem. Again, not a lot of fuss. There's no pockets in it. It does have the nice sturdy handles and the drawstring. And then I brought a couple other ones I have over here. This is the larger bag, so this would be like the sweater size bag. And this is what my chevron throw is in currently. And I have 4 full skeins caked up yarn plus 2 of the little bitty skeins of 100 gram in half. And it all sits in here just fine. Again, no pockets, but I don't need them for this project. It has the zipper, the leather pull, a little hand strap. Again, I feel like these bags are so sturdy that you can just abuse them a little bit. And I mean, not on purpose, but I kind of tend to like throw things down, move them to another room. I also have quite a few of her bucket bags, which are just open on top. I didn't bring any down here with me because my cat likes yarn. And so I can't leave the bucket bags on my cart where the cat can get into it because she will. But I have quite a few of those for like bigger projects. I just want open and they're just have the 2 strapped, the handles. That's it. And they're open. And I can see at least 3 from where I'm sitting right now. Like I said, I kind of went crazy on her bags when I first discovered how much I love them. And because they're shipping from Canada, they take a little bit longer to get. I would usually buy a couple at a time when she had an update. So those are my top 3 bag makers. Of course, there's other ones that I love. I would love to hear what bags that you guys enjoy. So yeah, the only other thing we have to go over is my podcast of the week. So every episode, I like to mention a podcast I love because I watch so many of them. And I know I love discovering them from you guys, what you watch. And what I usually do is watch their latest one. And if I like it, then I'll subscribe. And if they have a bunch and I don't want to wait, I'll start back at the beginning while still being caught up with their newest episodes. So this is one that I think a lot of people will have heard of is Cozy Up Knits. It is 4 sisters and their mom, generally, from Canada again. So I like to describe a little bit about the podcast. They are very easygoing. They are designers. They have lots of designs out there. And lately, the last couple of months, it's usually 3 of the sisters and their mom that is at the podcast, but it can be anything. They don't do show notes. They don't do a lot of fuss. They usually hold up a tag and be like, if you like it, screenshot it, and then go buy it. They don't want to have time with messing with show notes or editing or any of that. So usually at the beginning, you just see them sitting around chatting. But they're super fun. And if you like shorter podcasts, they usually keep it about a half hour. But they also podcast usually every single week. So they're very regular. And they always have knit-along, make-alongs. They're very active on Instagram, at least Jamie is. So yeah, that's the one that I just watched their newest one this morning, where they even had extra family members as special guests in their podcast. So I think that is it for me. See, I told you this was going to be a short one. The one other thing is I had promised, oh no, I have acquisitions, my bad. And before that, I promised the giveaway for the last episode. If you remember, I showed this book and you had to comment on the last episode to be eligible to win. And of course, I forgot to pull that name, but I am going to put it above, and I will respond to their comment in YouTube. Congratulations. Get me your full name and address, and I will, if you respond to me quickly, I will get this shipped out before I leave for out of town this next week. So yeah, congratulations to you. Now, quickly, acquisitions, I've been pretty good. Let me just say. Like I said, I bought this little bag. I went to Arkansas Yarn Co. I bought this little bag, and that's it. I didn't buy any yarn. So I'm really impressed with myself. I've really been trying to be good in the fact that I've been even gifting away a lot of my single skeins of sock because I'm into sweaters or projects that I need more than one skein of yarn. So I don't want to buy a sock yarn just because it's pretty, no matter how much I love it. And as much as of course I'm going to support all the Miar dyers, but also I have to not just add to the stash just because. There's always going to be more beautiful yarn. I tell myself when I look at something and think I have to have it, I'm like, in 6 months from now, there's going to be more beautiful yarn still. And I have a stash that if I didn't buy any yarn for a whole year, I would still have enough projects to knit on. Let's be honest. But I did buy something non-knitting related, like down a new rabbit hole. I haven't started it yet. But if you watch We Share Needles podcasts, you'll know my friend Kristen did embroidery, a project, and I just thought it was so gorgeous. And that is one skill I've always been interested in. If I learn any other skill, I'm like, that's the one I would like, because not only can you do it on like a canvas, like a cross stitch kind of thing, but you can, embellish your jeans, a jacket. You could add it to your yarn projects. I'm like, there's a lot that can be done with embroidery. So my daughter takes sewing classes once a week, and at the sewing place, I just kind of look around. I do not know how to sew, so there's not much for me to be tempted by. But I had seen this. It's a 30-day sampler. And basically the stitches is just one of those things where it tells you what they are and you do them. So I kind of eyed it for a while and I'm like, oh, I would love to learn that. And I thought, no. And then I found this little pocket guide. This is from Leisure Arts. And I love these things so much. I have a knitting and crochet one. Now, I rarely use these because I know how to knit and crochet, but every once in a while I have like a moment where you're like, am I doing that right? These things are amazing. They're usually, well, when I originally bought these were like $5 at Joann's. I think if you look online now, they're about $8 you could find them. But it just has very kind of basic things with a picture to show you where do you go in for the stitch. Things like that. So I keep them as like I'm having a moment where I can't think straight. I keep these on my cart for just a reference guide to have. So once I saw that they had one for embroidery, I'm like, well, I have got to get that. So I got this online, and then I bought this at the sewing store. So who knows when I'm actually going to try it. Like, I feel like I really need to be in a good brain space where I can try something new, but I'm really excited about it. So stay tuned on how that goes. But yeah, besides that, that's all I bought. Now, like I said, today's Saturday. In a couple days, this will go up tomorrow. And then Monday, March 28th, I will be at Arkansas Yarn Co. in the morning, and I will do another live unboxing. I usually try to wait like a day or so to post the video to give make sure all the packages have been sent out. And I gave you a spoiler alert, but if you want to see what the next Sock Yarn Society Club colorway and the goodies in there, Make sure to come back in a couple of days and I will have a new video on that with Lori as we also, again, show off our blankets. So I think that's it for today. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for all the comments last time. And if you could, subscribe to this channel, share this channel. I know that many of my favorite podcasters have been sharing my channel, which is unreal. So thank you for that. Like, subscribe, all the things, comment. I love the interaction and getting to know people and hearing what you're working on, because it might inspire me to do something. And thank you for being patient. And if it's been loud, I can hear my neighbors jamming out next door. I don't know if you guys can hear that. But I'll see you again in 2 weeks. Bye.